Hello, everyone. Um, we are here again, coming to you live as we still work through this whole process of a world of the United States without Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So I think we're going live into Red, White, and Blue on the main page, and then into Suburban Housewives against Trump, Red, White, and Blue decanted. So thank you everybody that's coming on this journey with us. If you were here last night, I don't think any of us have showered since, so we're right there with you. Yeah, no, I've changed tops as to appear like I've moved, but I'm still wearing the same leggings that I was wearing last night when we were here. I've had less rosé this time. But anyways, so we just wanted to talk some more because last night was so helpful and start thinking about the ways in which we can and really help solidify that RBG legacy and what comes next. So I guess first, just like a quick check-in, we'll start with Julie Collins because you're next to me in the box. But like, how are you feeling? We've had like 12 hours.
Still very concerned about what comes next and the things that I'm reading. But more determined than ever that, we've got these 44 days to make stuff happen or make shit happen. That's the way we say it. So.
Right.
Yeah. I'm next to Julie, so I don't know if that's in your box too, but I'm next to Julie. I feel exactly the same way. I think I'm still devastated in processing. And I think part of that process is all of a sudden realizing, oh, I forgot that's going to be impacted. Oh, I forgot that's going to be impacted. Like all of the ways that this is going to impact our world are just kind of crashing down on me. But it also, I totally agree with Julie. It also makes me be like, it's go time. Like we have to not sit on the side. Like we have to do everything we possibly can between now and November to make big changes and make the world the way we want it to be. So make RBG proud.
Right. What about you, Laura?
Yeah, so I want to, be able to mourn Ruth Bader Ginsburg and honor her legacy, but we don't even get time to do that because already Mitch McConnell and Trump are talking about nominating and confirming another Supreme Court justice. And not only is that hypocritical, but it's just plain callous and heartless and cruel. So that energizes me even more to get ruthless and really get stuff done. We have to really fight for our democracy and honor her legacy. So I'm trying to channel that sadness and that rage into action.
We need shirts that say "Get Ruthless." I think we need shirts.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and also just, we're talking about this and it's like if, everybody hashtag 2020, right? Everything is happening. There's been a lot of chaos, but also want to make sure that you're taking care of you too. So, this can be a little devastating for the myriad of reasons, right? So make sure you're checking in today too. Make sure you're checking in with your friends, right? The women in your network who might also be having a hard time trying to see how we move forward in a positive way. So I would just really encourage that and taking, make sure you're taking a minute out. And if anybody has a good, idea for ways that you are handling self-care right now and managing that in an activist space or channeling that into action, I'd be really interested in hearing that from the comments. We're monitoring them here. So if you have something you want to add to this conversation, just like last night, feel free to comment and we will bring that up on screen and chat with that a little bit. But all right. So, but what's next, right? We're talking, like we're processing, we're getting through this.
Did Susan go? Susan, did you
go? Susan.
No, I was just thinking last night, someone described her as a hummingbird of a woman. She was tiny in stature and she was a hummingbird of a woman. but so it's inspiring, but also disturbing that so much of our democracy rested on her tiny shoulders. Like this one person, I feel like she was holding us up, holding the democracy up, and holding our rights as women up.
Yeah.
And now that she's gone, the fight is, we have to save ourselves. We've got to save ourselves. And it is I feel still devastated and completely sad, but also more committed to shoulder some of the responsibility that she held us up for so long. She fought as long and stayed around as long as she could. And I think we have to honor her spirit, her hummingbird spirit, and do the same.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just saw a picture of her. Well, of course, we've all just seen lots of pictures of her, but she was walking on stage for something, and it just struck me as like she was so petite. You're right, but she was a giant. Like she really did. What you just said, I know what you just said was 100% accurate. She held up our world on her shoulders and saved and made so many things better that I think we just have to step into her place now and follow her legacy, be ruthless, and just do what she was doing so that we make this world a better place, 100%. And I do hope people are reaching out to their friends. I mean, I've been on text chains with people just talking and checking and letting everybody vent and be in their feelings. And I think that's so important.
Yeah. Well, and it's like when we're talking about reaching out to those people too, like reaching out to our friends and our network, and checking in and making sure everything's okay, that's also a way that we here take action, right? And we do that by reaching out to the women in our network. So Julie Womack, I don't know, can you talk a little bit about like how we do that and how that relates for the people that are interested in taking action today?
Yeah, everything that Red, Wine, and Blue is about women talking to their friends and being, with, I guess, sharing that information with the women in their networks, just like you guys are sharing your feelings right now and supporting each other with, whatever you need at this moment. That is exactly what women do all the time. We talk to each other, we listen to each other, we look to each other for advice because we trust our friends, right? You trust the people around you, care about you, and they want what's best for you. And so that is what our concept is in taking action, is that we know if you give your friends information, if you reach out and talk to your friends about issues you care about, why you care about them, candidates that you think are amazing and that really need to win, why this election is important, your friends are going to listen to you. And so that's what we're all about. We're all about making it easy. We give you great content and fun things that you can share with your friends that will inform them, but we know that they're going to pay attention to it because you sent it to them. You were talking to them about it. And that is really our concept of activism. And it's a very easy thing to do. It is something you can do from your home. We kind of joke, you do this from your phone because you're just contacting and talking to your friends. So we're like, you can sit on the couch. You can even, we kind of joke that if you can run to the restroom, you can like text a couple of friends, right?
Right, if you have those 5 minutes to yourself.
Yeah.
And Julie, important text and not talk to. You don't have to talk to anybody. That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's what we really impact and embrace, is the idea that women listen and talk to other women, and that we are really trusted messengers to them. And so that is exactly what we do. And that's how we take action, is by sending information, sending content that we create here to our friends. And I also promise the stuff we make will inform your friends, but it will also make them laugh. So it's not the normal, typical political, boring stuff that they get and kind of turn off. I mean, this stuff actually is amusing and funny. So I think they actually enjoy talking about it then. And it encourages more conversation.
Right. And also it just like, this has been so helpful for me personally, like in the past 12 hours while we've had this, wave of grief, and then you go through all the steps, right? Your hopelessness. And, now it's, what can we do? What can we do? And having this community here as well as like my network of friends that are also interested in doing that is really what's keeping me sane right now. So just again, thank you to, you know, all these amazing women in these boxes that I'm looking at, but all of you here that are in the comments with us, you know, looking for a way that you can impact this election and really be ruthless, right? And we know from, you know, every piece of data and reporting out there that, you know, when you reach out to people, you know, it has like what, like a 25% more impact. I don't know. I can't
I think
speak
it's like
data.
25 times more impactful.
Impactful. Thank you. When you actually like reach out to those people, because, you know, in this age of nobody knows like the news source or whatever, like when you can go to your friends and be like, look, this is fun and interesting, you know, it really makes a difference because you are a trusted person to them. So it's something that when you get into, like, we have Outvote, but when you get into reaching out to those people in your network, like that's going to make the biggest impact. That's going to do more than a, you know, X amount donation or knocking on the, you know, calling a stranger or something like that. Like that, do that too, please. I am not dissuading you from giving money and making calls. If that's your jam, bless you, because that's not mine. But, you know, if you can take some time and send a, you know, cute video of baby Dr. Amy talking to Judge Jennifer Bruner to your friend to introduce her, to get her out to vote for her in the Ohio Supreme Court, like that's really important, and those minds are going to be made.
Or if you're like me, sitting here at home, I've been here since March because of COVID. You know, I can't go out and march anywhere. I can't, you know, I can't expose myself to strangers like that. So, you know, this is the perfect way to express my activist muscle. Is to have this you know, this Outvote, this app.
Yep.
Does somebody want to explain how it works? Like just the process of when we talk about Outvote, we talk about our app, like what you're actually going to be doing if you take action with us.
Somebody.
I thought it was
I can do that, but I'm good at that. A lot. So if someone else wants to just talk about the general process, I'm fine. But no, I guess okay, I'll do it.
Come on, Marcia, do it.
So we do use an app because this is the best way for us to communicate with anybody who wants to be talking to their friends. All you need to do is go to the App Store and download the app Outvote. And then we have a campaign code, which is on the screen here. We use the term uncork, but that translates to 862675. And look I've been forwarding red, white, and blue posts to every friend and political group I follow. Okay, see, that's exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly what we're asking people to do. But when you download the app, you'll go through a process of just like any app to download it. It's pretty easy. But when you get in the app, what you'll see is there is a tab, the first tab, and it's like the home screen, and it's like your Facebook feed kind of. And we will post videos there, we will post messaging, and we will say to you, hey, can you text this to your friend? It may be like Bev just described. It could be, we have this really cute video right now of a little girl who looks like Dr. Amy, pretending to be Dr. Amy Acton, interviewing Judge Bruner, who's running for Supreme Court. And of course, she's a hardcore interviewer, right? So it's adorable.
You know what I could actually do? You know what video I have loaded up and in here is a video starring our very own Laura about Trump's suburbia. And it's just, you know, it's already sitting in here from where we've shown it in the past. So do you think it would be appropriate for me to show that now?
I think you should.
All right, I'm going to show it. But this is something that we did, and this is how we like to communicate to our ladies.
And
suburbia will be no longer as we know it. Your home will go down in value and crime rates will rapidly rise. The Democrats in D.C. have been and want to, at a much higher level, abolish our beautiful and successful suburbs.
you okay, Laura?
I'm fine.
That is one of my favorites.
I haven't watched that for a while.
The snapping of the glove, it gets me every time.
It never gets old.
Oh my God.
That's like the perfect example. Okay, thank you, Michelle. You love this video. It's never, that is the example of what we will put into the app. So when you go into the app, that is, you look at on the main feed, which is just like your Facebook feed, that video would be sitting there and it would say, text this to your friends, or maybe it would just say, share it on social media. But that's all that we ask to do. And what you're doing, you send that video to your friends and suddenly they're thinking about the fact how ridiculous Trump's statements are. Like, there's a little bit of an impact too of like, when your friends are telling you that this is ridiculous, then you might, I don't know, if you're a woman who's all scared of that, or is all scared of some of Trump's rhetoric, and you're kind of thinking about it, and your friend texts you that, completely mocking it, then you're like, oh yeah. Like, there's a little bit of wanting to social pressure on that side of it, but that's why it's really impactful too. Your friends listen to you, so you send them that kind of stuff. Or you send them videos about candidates like Jennifer Bruner or other candidates that are running. You introduce them to that candidate, you personalize them, name recognition, which is so important. But it's all coming from you, so they're going to remember it and they're going to believe it, right? Because in this day and age, people dismiss stuff.
Well, and bless the people that make the very political content. But, you know, I think all of us have seen that 1,000 times, and it kind of, you send that to somebody, there's not really an end to it. Whereas if you send them something from us, you know, we have it's going to speak to them, right? It's more entertaining, and it's not like you're bugging them with 18 reminders to register to vote, right? Because that's not where our ladies are. We're just trying to get them excited about this election and get those ladies that really maybe haven't been too political before, or, you know, just kind of went with the flow, weren't comfortable talking. I mean, when you are that lady, when you have the information to be that guide to your friends and to other women in your community, like that's something that actually makes change. So we really hope that we can empower y'all to do that today as we like sit here and get ready to get ruthless, be ruthless.
Yes.
I was going to say, I know that I've been sending things to my friends, and I didn't know how you guys, I'm sure we've all been doing that, what kind of reaction you've been getting, because honestly, you know, my friends, even the ones who don't, sorry, I'm losing my voice, even the ones who don't necessarily pay a ton of attention to politics, which there's a lot of them, I probably annoy them, you know, I shouldn't say that, but I think what I'm sending them is making them laugh, because it's not the stuff they see on TV that annoys them. So what we're sending them makes them laugh. But I find my friends who, even the ones who don't pay attention, are writing me back saying, that was so funny. I love this. You know, I would definitely watch this kind of stuff all day long. So you guys are probably getting similar reactions.
Definitely. Also, I have reconnected with some folks that were in my phone that I hadn't thought about in a while. And, you know, some information and, you know, had a conversation with them. So this really is so super simple, and people do love our content, you know, because it's lighthearted and it's fun, but it also is.
Well, right. And there's data behind this, right? Like, we know, like, when we're talking to these women that might be on the fence or might not get out to vote that often, that this is how you want to communicate and make it fun. But also on top of that, we're building community here. Like, we want to bring these women in and make it okay to talk politics, to where it's not taboo, to empower women to have those conversations, you know, in the car pickup line, at the PTA, you know what I mean? You know, I think of Julie Womack here, like, and the crew down in Mason, Ohio, that have been labeled troublemakers by the city council. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because it's my favorite story.
Right. So where I live is a very conservative red community in Ohio, north of Cincinnati. We have pretty much been run by Republicans. And right now there's a lot of infighting on their council between moderate Republicans and more extreme Republicans. And so there's they've had some issues. They tried to recall some members, and they don't want they basically want to blame us for it. And they know that we are there now. And so suddenly we have become the people who are sowing discord in the town, and they're name checking our organizations. And we find it quite amusing, but I think the fact that we didn't exist even a couple years ago, and now we're there and we're vocal and we're coming to meetings, it's making them very disconcerted. So they've been speaking out, trying to blame all of the problems that they have internally on us, because we're the rabble rousers now. We're the we're the troublemakers in the community. But the thing is that the more they talk about us, the more people who keep joining our organization, because they didn't even, they're in our community. They just didn't use their voice. They didn't feel empowered to speak up. And now they realize there's a group of people who feel like them, and they're joining forces with us. So we hope they keep talking about it at city council meetings. Go for it.
Well, and which is my favorite. I just love the label of troublemaker. Like, you naughty little girl. You're such a troublemaker. I love it. Susan, what about, you guys have had like some crazy success with your ballots up in your part of Ohio. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so what we did, we partnered with my ward club, my group, my grassroots resistance group on the west side of Cleveland. And we made door hangers. We had them printed, custom door hangers, and we made vote by mail kits. We attached 2 ballots to the door hanger. We clipped them with a pre-printed envelope with the address of the Board of Elections. And the ballot, we even had those custom made. They were smaller, like 5x7 size. So 2 could fit in an envelope with 1 stamp. And we targeted every Democratic voter. We started out just in our ward, and then the undecided or independent voters, or the lazy, you're not supposed to say lazy voter, infrequent voter. And we hit over 7,000 doors in every weekend in August, and we reached 22,000 voters, I think. And as a result, Cuyahoga County, I think we have the largest absentee ballot request of any county in Ohio, I think. And so we started doing it. We spread it to Bay Village, and other clubs did it. Other ward clubs picked it up, other Dem clubs and activist groups. And this little campaign has spread throughout Northeast Ohio. And now we're doing ballot chase door hangers. With local candidates. Jennifer Bruner is on the backside of that door hanger, by the way. But that's the next thing. We're going to start that on October 10th.
Well, and what's crazy to me, like both of you, like these groups that have done this, these are post 2016 groups, right? Like groups that have formed from women who are mad as hell and not going to take it anymore, women who are already being ruthless, you know what I mean, and have come together and have grown community through the grassroots, through these Facebook groups, through stuff like the Outvote app that we use. And I don't know, I think that's really special. These are not your women who have been doing this since, name, time, and history that's age appropriate here. These are women who might not have been extremely interested in the political process, but have come along since 2016 and have really gotten activated, like so many of us here. And like, you can be that catalyst for somebody else too. 100%. Like, and maybe RBG was like, we're seeing a lot of stuff in the comments, like somebody registered to vote for the first time because of this. Like, this is a perfect time for you to start reaching out to those people who may not have understood the significance of this election previously.
I think that's what activated me in 2016 was that, I knew I'm a political science major. I'm a lawyer. So I knew politics was important, but you're busy with your families. And I don't think I realized the impact these elections could have until 2016. You're just caught up in your life. So if you can be that voice for somebody and explain to them, especially in light of how impactful we know that RBG was on our country and everything that she did to basically protect us, if you can explain that and show the impact that someone can have by stepping up, I think you need to use your voice, and you'll be surprised. You will be 100% surprised at how positive your reaction is going to be about that, and people will thank you.
You know, I almost wish you had a different word or different phrase for, you know, I'm not into politics. I'm not into I wish that word.
I call it privilege.
Yeah. What? What? Politics? Are you into quality of life? Are you into that? Are you into clean water and clean air and
driving on roads?
Voting without suppression? Are you into those things?
Or I'm sorry, are you into surviving a global pandemic?
That thing
vaguely.
What do you think? Are you into living your life and saving your life? What is that? You know, that label just, oh.
Yes, we got somebody that downloaded Outvote.
And I don't know if Lace Collar March is the lady from last night who came up with that. I'm not sure, but I actually put that out there. So I think that your idea is going to run like wildfire.
We're doing a candlelight vigil tomorrow night in Cleveland at 7:30.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for the lady who, I'm sorry, the name disappeared before I could see it, but thank you for downloading it. So.
Yeah, and if somebody else in this feed has downloaded Outvote, like, we love these stories, like, not just right now, but if you like, let me know if you've downloaded Outvote right now, or if you've like worked with it in the past. Like, it's time for those testimonials. We only have 44 days to an election. You know, so what else do we have to do?
Well, I was going to say, once we got that downloaded, go in there and you'll see there's like 5 tabs at the bottom. So just hit that first tab, which is the home feed, and that's going to see all the videos and all the things that we have made for you that you can send to your friends. So text them, put them on social media. That's how you start impacting and influencing your friends. But then go check out all the other tabs, because there's a lot of fun things on there. The 4th tab actually has some info on voting stuff. I'm not going to necessarily get into all of that, but if you get into, you know, look in your 4th tab and you can kind of see voting history of people, which helps you motivate and talk to people who maybe you have friends who don't vote as often as you think they did. And you can kind of, that information is there and it's going to help you figure out who to talk to.
Oh yeah. The whole voting information of Outvote is like my favorite part of Outvote. Like, just to go deep in that, right? Like, you literally can see the type of vote of friend is. So.
Yeah, I will go deep into that. So if you go to the 4th tab on your app, once you sync your contacts, because of course you can't communicate with anybody if you don't do that, your phone book is there on the 4th tab, and you're going to see heart-eyed emojis and smiling emojis and sleeping emojis, and that's all an indication because of your friend's voting history, and if they're a super voter, a frequent voter, or an infrequent voter. And this is all national voter file information that just gets matched up and gives you that insider information. So I know a lot of us have spent hours kind of going through that, but it's very helpful to actually understand people's voting histories and patterns, because if there are people who are not voting or don't vote all the time, it's really helpful to reach out to them. I mean, you should reach out to everybody, but you kind of know who you might need to nudge, who might be a good person to reach out to. So look at the 4th tab. You can kind of scroll through that. You can even match people up if there's a question mark. If that means they didn't match up, you could tap their name and you can search the voter file and try to find them. You can add in more information. So it's really, really helpful tool, and it's actually a little fun. So I highly recommend you go check that out. And then if you look at the last tab on the app too, there's some games involved, like you can form teams. We have a team Northern Ohio, a team Central Ohio, a team Southern Ohio. So go play with that 5th tab and find a team, join us on your regional team, or you can even invite your friends. So if you go back to the 4th tab, there's an invite button. You can make your own team. You can invite your friends to get involved with you. The more of you that are empowering and talking to your friends, the bigger our reach is going to be.
Yeah.
And can we talk just a little bit about the data, about how much an impact our outreach can do? So I think, you know, right now with the number of users we have, and hopefully we have a bunch more since last night, We have access to about 250,000 registered voters through our network of Outvote users. And at least in Ohio, the data showed us that Sherrod Brown won his statewide Senate seat by 164,000 suburban votes. So we know that we have the potential to impact those statewide races. And then if you think about the down ballot races that we're also supporting in local elections, some of those are won by just a handful of votes, just a few dozen votes. So if each of us texts a few friends, 10 friends, 20 friends, we can really have an impact on the future of our elections and the future of our country. So we don't have to do a ton of work to have a huge impact if we're all doing it together.
Well, right. And you think like how little the space is in the electorate of people that haven't decided yet, right? Like the last time I saw it, it was like 13%, although I'm sure it's less than that now because that was a couple weeks ago. But like we know from every single data point and headline, rude people microwaving when I'm live streaming. Anyway, how dare they? But we know from that, like it's suburban women, right? These are your friends. These are people that you have. Google suburban women in the election, in the 2020 election right now. Like everything comes down to suburban women. Yeah. So these are your ability to reach those 10 suburban voters that you might be able to like have an impact on is worth so much more than other types of voter contact, and worth more than a ad on television, worth more than anything else. Your ability is going to have you're so much more important than anybody can give you credit for right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was going to say, for those of you who live in I'm down in the Cincinnati area, and Jessica Miranda is one of the state races down here. She won last time by 56 votes, you guys.
Ooh, that's going to keep me up at night.
Votes. She knocked like every door in her district. So, I mean, she worked her butt off to get that seat. But I'm going to tell you something. If you can help her by sending some information about, if you live in her district and you send some friends in that district information about her, people don't pay attention. I mean, we are all consumed by Trump and Biden and all that going on, but our state house actually has a lot more of an impact on your life than even at the federal level. So, if you can help Jessica, because you message 10 friends and send them information about her, and suddenly they vote down ballot and see Jessica's name, and they're like, oh yeah, tell me about her. Check that box. You may swing an election. If we all do that in all these state house districts across Ohio, we can
that's an election.
That's an election.
It. And I mean, we're talking a lot about the court as we try to get through the events of last night, but we have in Ohio, Judge Jennifer Brunner, who is running for the Ohio Supreme Court. As we look at just the importance of these judicial decisions, it is more important than ever that especially here in Ohio, I know we have ladies from other parts of the country, and so please, if there's a judicial race that you want to comment about, or please mention it in the comments. But man, just anything that we can do to help Judge Jennifer Brunner in Ohio to actually to get that seat on the court is we got redistricting coming up, and we're going to have somebody on the court. Oh man.
Just very briefly, I call this the kitchen table politics, the kitchen table, the things that affect your kitchen table. And those races are definitely that, the state house races, the judicial races, because think about this. If you have to go to court for anything, you're going to be standing in front of these folks that you directly, hopefully that you directly voted for. And that's why, their decisions, can directly affect you. Their decisions can set precedents that change laws for us. So, they affect us, first. The state house are the folks who actually set the laws. So, you need to be looking at these races. That you can't just let folks continually get elected and then when they switch over to the Senate and they go back and forth with that whole career politician thing. We have to stop that pattern. And this is the year to do that.
We just gotta get more ladies in.
Mm-hmm.
Rule of thumb.
I mean, and how many awesome ladies do we have that are running, like not just in Ohio, but across the country? And also, just because I'm seeing people talk about donating, I went ahead and dropped our donate link into the chat here because, you know, we have been talking about how important this work is. So please support and help it continue if you can. You know, if that's one way that you want to take action today, we won't turn it down. So, but we've been going on for about 35 minutes. Like, as we head to the end of this, like, what are your final thoughts as we move forward?
Mine are that we have been given, I feel like, directives, you know, in losing John Lewis and in losing, you know, RBG, you know, we need to be out there being ruthless and getting into good trouble, unnecessary trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I'll second that. Amen to that. We have our marching orders.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just hope that I guess my final thought is just that I hope you guys do understand how much you can make a difference and how much you can change people's minds, just by talking to them. And we really try to make it easy for you to do that. We really want to help you. We want to have your back on that. So we really hope you'll get involved with us, download that AdVote app, and please feel free to reach out to us. We want to support you. So if you guys have questions, we are all here for you.
Absolutely. And just please download Outvote, y'all. 44 days. We've got an election to win. We can do it. We can do it. All right. Love to literally everybody. Make sure that you, in addition to taking action today, are also doing something to you. Reach out, tell another, you know, sister in the fight that you love her. And all that good things. And I love all of you. You're very wonderful people. So have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon, guys. Bye.
Bye.